Hello. Yeah, so back in with another video. Um, I suppose in this coverage, I wanted to talk about the combination between an ENTP and an ENTJ and why I think that it is quite good, or very good, in fact, or fucking amazing. Um, no, I just think that ENTPs and ENTJs vibe well with each other as long as you're mindful of certain things. Like, you're both extroverted, which translates to the desire to want to constantly converse. Now, unless you're unable to listen or you just don't have you can't stop your brain from churning out verbal matter, then I suppose you're pretty fucked. But if you are able to stop and pause and listen to what the other person wants to say, then an ENTP and an ENTJ combination is very, very good. Now, my business partner is an ENTJ, and my word, he is productive beyond what I can consider normal. He has the ability to respond to ideas in a way that is so structured, yet so efficient and so results oriented. Now, I think that derives from the TE functioning. While with ENTPs, we have TI, which can almost run itself into a corner and then somehow, like a rat, get out of that corner and find another area to find comfort in. And then when it's found comfort in that idea, it slowly moves on to the next. So what I mean by that is that it's not like NE where that was the wrong terminology, but TI is essentially always looking for a certain truth. But that truth is constantly changing due to the interpretation of what that truth might be. If a more powerful argument or a more powerful idea or something that makes the previous statement less powerful is not the right word, but it's the only word that's coming to mind, then you've got a situation where TI is constantly searching for something. And that's why it works well with TE, I think, because TE will embrace and respect that level of thought and that strategic thinking that comes from TI. But what it does with it is something that TI could never ever do, and that is structure it in a way to return an investment, basically, to return a result. Now, this is why ENTJs are so successful, and that's why they often found businesses and launched them into the world, I suppose, and really become successful. And that's where the ENTP lacks the ability to do so. While we may have the most thought out ideas, they will never ever come of anything, and that's why it's always like sometimes we feel we're all fart and no shit, basically. Unless you have that instilled within you, which I've tried to many times complete, to most occasions to a fault, and in some other areas I have succeeded. Now, the nature of the work that you do can definitely determine the result. For example, if there is a deadline, I have no problem channeling my mind to produce something and yearn a result at the end of that. Especially like academia, for example, and education. I don't think that ENTPs necessarily have a problem, because that level of thinking actually proves favorable than just churning out a result. Because that's not to say that ENTJs are just all results based. ENTJs are very much ideas people as well. I guess they just have the perfect balance between results and process. Well, ENTPs can be so fixated on the process and so susceptible to new ideas because of NE that they fail to complete what's set in front of them, while an ENTJ will just complete task after task. That's why when I work with my business partner, he comes up with a structure. He structures the whole thing, and he structures it off our deliberation. So it's just the perfect combo. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not doing enough, but not necessarily, because a lot of what I do, or a lot of what perhaps ENTPs are good at, is the intangible, right? The idea, the opportunistic mind and the optimism that we possess for certain things can then almost infect other people with that same vision. So the byproduct effect of that is an ENTJ gets a hand of those ideas, gets a hold of those ideas alongside their own ability to generate them as well. And you've got a powerful combo. Now obviously there are negatives to every combination, right? You can't say that ENTP and ENTJ are a powerful, perfect, utopian, idealistic match. No, they're not. They do have their negatives, and that stems from the fact that they're both extroverted. Now I know another INTJ who I met in China when I was traveling over there, and perhaps that could have been more fruitful due to the fact that they are introverted by nature and therefore more willing to let the ENTP splurge. Well, sometimes with an ENTP and an ENTJ, they could just be firing and firing and firing, and talking over each other. But it can work really well, because unless you're working in a structured environment where there's a corporate setting and constantly challenging each other, not necessarily each other, but the boss, the person who's in charge, if you question what they say, that can draw negative feedback. Yet with an ENTP and an ENTJ, it's like you have mutual respect for one another. That constant jout of ideas between each other is actually respected and productive. So unless we talk about politics or religion or anything of those topics, then you should be fine. You should be fine. But yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents on an ENTP and an ENTJ combination. I know I just go off the dome here and I never really have a structure to how I want my videos to go. Therefore, I may not cover everything, but that which I do cover, I hope I cover it in some depth, I suppose. But yeah, I just thought I wanted to make a video, and that is what I did. So look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.